In this video today, we will be highlighting the concept of target games. We will be using an indoor curling activity to show different ways that strategy and scoring can be introduced. We will be referencing the problem diagnosis framework sheet that can be found on the Growing Young Movers website for target games. In this lead-up activity, we're going to be using fleece balls, and we will be sending them underhand towards our target. Now, one of the key concepts for this activity is that it's going to show that we're always throwing from a common area. In this case, it will be this red line. We will be highlighting that we're alternating our shots, so the person with the blue fleece ball will throw, followed by the person with the red fleece ball. Similar to what we would see at the curling rink when we're preparing to send an object, we want to make sure that we have everything square to the target. Our shoulders, our hips, our feet are pointed to where we want to send our object. Okay? So it's a preparation phase. We're going to be here, limbs in opposition, stepping with opposite foot, sending with opposite hand, and follow through with our eyes straight to our target. Another option that you could use with your students is to use couche balls instead of a fleece ball. Now, one of the advantages of using a couche ball is that they're not going to roll around, and the students won't generally have to chase after them as much. In this activity, we will show a beanbag progression, which again, we're still trying to highlight the importance of sending our object with correct technique. We're alternating shots, and what's good with the beanbags is that they're going to be sliding along the floor similar to what you would see in a regular curling delivery. Now, if you don't have a curling house target to use, okay, you can make do. You can improvise with other objects. Maybe you can use a frisbee. Maybe you can use a poly spot.
Another option to help the students with target games is using this option of a soft toss frisbee. Now, the idea of this activity would be you'd work in pairs or small groups, and the idea is they have to throw the frisbee, which in essence becomes the button, and after someone throws that, they alternate turns throwing towards the frisbee. So I could throw first, and then my partner throws to it. You could start with one toss each, or you can add in where they then have a second, and you can try to see who has more towards the target than the other person. And simply what happens, everyone's done again, just like in every other target game. We can come pick up our items, and this time we can alternate who's throwing the frisbee. So again, there could be students working at the house, working at trying to deliver the curling rocks or whatever else we're using for equipment to those targets. And in this case, there could be activities moving around where we're tossing to open space. And I suggest now we'd like to show some different options of shots depending on what's happening in the game. Obviously, so we're going to get them to try to draw it right to the button. Obviously, they're going to be looking at effort, and as they shoot them in, they have to see, you know, if they threw it too soft and they end up getting a guard, the great thing about that is the next time it's their turn, they're going to understand the difference of effort that's going to be needed. All right, so let's go with this for example. So there is maybe a guard set up. Now we can talk strategy. It's ideal to maybe try to get inside behind that guard. So another shot may come in from the red team, and what the teacher, we could set up scenarios for them to try and say, okay, it's going to be hard to get into the house right now, but maybe we can try to hit our own red in from this stage. All right. Another option, obviously, so we've talked about a guard, which, you know, there's strategy to that. We talked about drawing into the button when that's an option. Another option we want to teach the kids is the fact that they can actually take out the opponent's rocks to help score. So in this case, we're going to try to take out the red rock with blue. As you're working with the students, maybe you're at a station while other activities are happening, we could set up scenarios with rocks and say, okay, who scores what in this case? and obviously we know blue would score 2 here. Or we can bring in another rock and say who scores here, and still would be blue of 2 as opposed to 3. So that's just something you can show as you're working through with them. I wouldn't probably suggest having everybody sitting around while you're showing score, but try to introduce it while they're involved in gameplay.